Hey guys, thanks for joining us here at Salty Ginger Talk. Really glad you joined us today, and we're excited about what we have to present to you today. So, we are digging into something powerful and something that might just change the trajectory of your personal and professional life. We're going to ask you to think long and hard about who you spend your time with. So, Jim Rohn was a motivational speaker, a coach, behaviorist, and was one of Tony Robbins' mentors. He has a famous quote that we absolutely love, and it says, "You are the average of the five people you spend the most time with." Now, whether that's literally true or not, it is certainly directionally accurate. Who you surround yourself with influences your habits, your energy, your mindset, your standards, even your level of ambition. So ask yourself this: when's the last time you did a real audit of your circle, the people you spend the most time with? When's the last time you really took a hard look at who you're spending your time with? Not in a harsh or a judgmental way, but in a deliberate, strategic way that respects your time, your goals, and your mental well being. That's what our episode today is all about. I'm going to give you 5 tips to help you audit the people in your life, identify positive and negative traits, and take action so that you're surrounded by people who make you stronger, not weaker. So, with all that said, let's just jump right into it. Tip number 1 is to track your time and emotional energy. So, the first step in any good audit is awareness. So, for one full week, you're going to track who you're spending your time with and how you feel after those interactions. It doesn't need to be complex. Just grab a notebook or your notes app and jot down the names of the people you interacted with. And then you're going to answer a few quick questions. Did I feel energized or did I feel drained after interacting with that person? Did I feel encouraged or did I feel criticized after acting with that person? And did I feel safe being myself or did I feel guarded because I didn't want to be judged when I interacted with that person? You're not judging, you're observing. Think of it like an emotional expense report. Here's what you're looking for. The positive traits that you're looking for in these interactions are people that are encouraging, people that are respectful, people that are optimistic, and people that are genuinely interested in you. Some red flags that you want to note in these interactions are constant complainers, Debbie Downers, people who dominate conversations, never allow you to talk, and never listen to you when you do, people who leave you feeling anxious or angry or doubting yourself, and people who create or attract constant drama. Like that last one's important because it's not an accident that the same people are always experiencing drama. A lot of it is self inflicted. So the takeaway here is that your time isn't just being spent, you're actually investing your time into people, and those people are going to impact your life. Some people will give you a return on that investment, and some people will drain your account when you invest with them. You've got to be honest about which one is which when you're looking at the people you spend your time with. Okay, so that's number 1. Tip number 2: you've got to evaluate the alignment with your values and goals. So take a step back and ask, are the people I spend time with aligned with the kind of life I want to live? That seems like a real straightforward question, but not a lot of people ask themselves that question. It's not about being identical. It's not about being in a bubble. It's not about only dealing with people that are like you. It's about compatibility in mindset. It's about compatibility in character. And it's about compatibility in direction. So, more questions to ask yourself as you work through this process in terms of aligning with your values and goals. Do they engage in personal growth or do they keep things shallow? Right? There's an old saying that says, I got to remember how it goes. Small minds gossip, talk about people. Great minds talk about ideas. I think that's how it goes. Or so, it's something like that. Right? But how deep do you go? Do you have meaningful conversations with these people? Do they stimulate you? Do they make you think about things in a different way? Do they make you question what you've got going on in your life? And am I on the right track? Okay. So, like, that's the thought process. Are they living with purpose, or are they just floating through life? Because if they're going to do that, they're going to impact you. They're going to drag you down to that level. And I'm not trying to be judgmental, but people that are living with a purposeful life are taking different actions than people that are just kind of floating on the river of life and going where the tide takes them. And do they respect your goals and your time? So, on these interactions, or on this question, this thought process, the positive traits we're looking for here is accountability in themselves and with others. Are they honest with you? Do you have to worry about them telling you the truth? Are they growth minded? Do they think, hey, I don't just have to take as much of this pie as I can get. I can make the pie bigger by my actions. And are they disciplined? Do they show consistency? Do they show that they're committed to the important things in life that are going to help make their lives better? Okay. Now, what are some red flags? What are some things we don't want to see when we go through this part of the audit? Victim mentality. That one's a killer. Like, instantly victim mentality, unless it's a family member or someone that you really think you can turn. I say if you find victim mentality on that list, that is like red flag, and that moves them to the they gotta go pile. Like, I don't have any use for victims. Everyone has bad stuff happen to them. Victims dwell on it. Winners deal with it, and that's what you're looking for in people. Do they have a lack of ambition? Do they show, I don't really care. I don't want to work hard. I don't want this. I don't want that. We're not saying be money hungry. We're not saying be power hungry. We're not saying be possession hungry. We're saying you should want more. You should be pushing yourself to get better. More isn't necessarily stuff or wealth or material things. More is, I want my life to grow. I want myself to grow personally. I want more. I don't want to have a lack of ambition. Dishonesty or shady behavior, that's never a good thing. If they're not going to be upfront with you, that's a problem. And constantly blaming others for their problems. Everyone knows that person that it's never their fault. It's never within their control. They always just got screwed. Like, that's a problem. It's not a coincidence that it's always the same person pleading that case. So, if someone's values consistently contradict with yours, one of two things will happen. You'll either clash, or worse, you'll compromise and start to see things their way. And that's not where you want to be. Being around the wrong people doesn't just slow you down. It can actually take you off course. It can stop you or move you backwards. And we don't want that. So that's the whole point of auditing your circle. Okay, tip number 3, audit their impact on your behavior. This is a big one, and it's often overlooked. Ask yourself, who am I when I'm with this person? Do you change? Are you influenced by their presence, by your interactions with them? You might like them. You might laugh with them. But they're subtly encouraging you to be a lesser version of yourself. And that's a problem. So reflect on questions like this when you're thinking about how they impact your behavior. Do I gossip more around them? Do I make excuses or skip habits I'm trying to build? Do I act out of character or different around this person than I do in my normal course of living? The positive traits that you're looking for from people in these instances are they bring out your best. They challenge you to grow, and they respect your standards. They don't try to lower them or work around them. So, some red flags when you're thinking about this in terms of how you behave when you're around these people. They normalize your bad habits. Excessive drinking, smoking, poor decisions, lying. All of those things are red flags, right? Do you do those things more when you're around someone? And if that someone is contributing to it, you got to think long and hard about how important it is to keep them in your world. They downplay your goals or mock your efforts, right? So I'm a big fan of Tony Robbins. I'm a big fan of motivation. I'm a big fan of doing your best. And some people, oh, good for you, Captain America, rah, rah. Those aren't people I want to hang around. Got it. You think I'm an idiot for doing what I'm doing. Duly noted. I don't give a fuck. I think I'm right. And I think it's good to push yourself. I think it's good to want more out of your life. And I'm not talking about money or things or material possessions or any of that stuff. I'm talking about growing your life, more meaningful relationships, more meaningful interactions, more meaningful things that you're doing that impact the world in a positive way. So, do you feel like you need to, the last one, sorry, I got on a tangent there, but the last one, do you feel like you need to dumb down your efforts or hold back because you're hanging around this person? That's a bad thing. That's a problem. You don't rise to the level of your goals, you fall to the level of your circle. Make sure your circle is up here so it's going to hold your standards high and it's going to push you. That's the whole point of this interaction or this exercise that we're talking about here. Okay, fourth tip, review reciprocity and intentions. Let's talk about balance real quick. Every healthy relationship has a give and take. It's not always perfect. It's not always perfectly balanced or equal, but it is generally mutual. And that's terribly important. Ask yourself these questions when you're thinking about reciprocity. Do they show up for you like you show up for them? Can you count on them the same way they know they can count on you? Are they dependable in tough times? Or are they only around for the good times or the fun or when it's easy? Do they celebrate your wins or secretly compete with you? Are they a frenemy? Those are questions to ask yourself. When you're asking yourself those questions, you want to look for these positive traits as a sign that you've got a good person there and a good choice. Number one, they're consistent. You can count on them. You know, even when things suck or tough, you can go to them. They're going to have your back. They're emotionally available. And I know that sounds like a squishy, touchy-feely word or phrase. All that means is they're not going to hold back. They're going to have honest conversations with you. They're going to celebrate when things are good for you. They're going to support you when things are bad for you. And they're not going to run just because things look ugly and they don't want to be associated with you. Number three, they give without keeping score. It's not quid pro quo. It's not, I did this, now I expect this from you. Other than, I support you, you should support me. But no one's keeping a tally on this thing. No one's got an abacus sliding the beads over every time one of you does one thing or the other. And they listen without judgment. That one's terribly important. It's one of the reasons why people open up to us so much. Look, I'm not a touchy-feely guy, and I'm not super sympathetic to things, and I'm very kind of left brain and black and white, but I'm non-judgmental. When someone expresses something to me that a lot of people would react to as shock or outrage, I just listen. That's all I'm doing is listening. Got it. You're just giving me feedback. I'm sure you regret that decision. I'm sure you're unhappy with that outcome. Whatever the case may be, I don't need to verbalize those things. And you should have friends that listen to you without judgment. If you don't, you need new friends. It's that straightforward. Okay, so red flags when we're asking ourselves these questions around reciprocity and what their intentions are. Do these people only reach out to you when they need something? Are they not there for you when you need it, but they expect you to be there when they do? Are they emotionally unavailable or dismissive? We just spent a little time talking about this one. I think it speaks for itself at this point. Do they make you feel guilty when you set boundaries? Do they say, oh, it must be nice to be able to just shut me off, or you don't care, or whatever? Like, do they make you feel guilty when you set boundaries with them? They take, but they rarely give. Those are all traits that are bad. Those are all traits that should be red flags and make you question how your relationship is set up with this person. Okay, so hard truth. Some people love the version of you that gives and gives, but they disappear when you need support. Plain and simple. There's some people are users and takers, and it's really not hard to spot them when you stop and go through this audit process and ask yourself these questions. And if someone consistently drains you, or they consistently disrespect you, or they consistently disappear when times are tough for you and you need help, it's not a relationship, it's a transaction. It's very similar to a parasite living off of a host. The parasite is taking and taking from the host and giving nothing back to the host in return. So if you find yourself in those relationships or those situations, you got to make some hard choices. You may have to have some hard conversations. Okay, tip number 5 here is to create boundaries and make adjustments. Now, we've gone through all these steps, and we've asked all these questions, we've done these audits, we've assessed how we think our interactions are with these people. What do we do about it now? Right? That's the goal. That's the question. First, don't feel like you need to confront everyone. In fact, you don't need to confront people. Confrontation isn't necessarily the way to resolve this. And maybe we need to rephrase that, because you definitely need to deal with it, but confrontation suggests some type of a showdown or a conflict. It doesn't need to be that way. In most cases, the best move is just to quietly adjust proximity. That means don't spend as much time with the people that wind up lower on the list and spend more time with the people that wind up higher on the list, right? Less time with the people that drain you, more time with the people that lift you up. That's tip number one. Second, be proactive with the people you value. Let them know you appreciate them. Make intentional time for them. Relationships need maintenance. It's important that you that you initiate the interaction with the people that are important to you. They need to know that they're important in your life because you want to be important in their life, and you get value out of your relationship. Third, you got to set boundaries with the people who push your limits. That might mean some uncomfortable conversations like declining invites, saying no more often, or communicating clearly when something isn't working. That isn't always fun to do. It's not always easy to do, but it's important for your personal well-being to have those conversations and set those boundaries. If someone really matters to you but shows concerning traits, then you have to have a respectful conversation with them. Growth can happen, but only if people are willing. And it's important to note that people kind of fluctuate in life. So there are times when people have things in their life squared away, and they're much more capable of providing a good friendship to you. And there's times where they might be struggling, so they don't have it in them to be the friend that you need. That doesn't mean you excommunicate them. That doesn't mean they're dead to you. It doesn't mean you never talk to them again. But maybe that's a time you need to lean in and be a little more supportive, and the relationship tilts more as you being the mentor and or the anchor, and they need the help. So that's part of it too, right? So you got to think about it that way. It's not always this person is in this category forever. Things change and people change, circumstances change. And a lot of times you'll have to reassess this and say, hey, X person was low on the list, but they've really gotten things together. I enjoy my time with them. They've taken on additional responsibilities. They've taken accountability for their life. They're a person that's on the up and is a go-getter, and you want to spend more time with them because you get value from that. And that's okay. That's okay. It can change. It doesn't have to be the same forever. Nothing is permanent, good or bad. And so you got to be aware of that. If you're stuck being around draining people, like a coworker, a relative, someone that you don't have the choice, you've still got to interact with them and you can't change the amount of time you interact with them, build in some recovery time afterwards, and, some mental preparation time before. Go for a walk, do some journaling, or do something that resets your energy after you have this interaction with this person. If you can't get around it, if there's no way to change it, then you have to build in some mechanisms that help you kind of recharge your battery after you deal with them. So, auditing your circle is not mean, it's mature, it's responsible, it's respectful to yourself. You're not cutting off people out of hate. You're protecting your peace, and you're doing it out of self-respect for yourself. So that's the way to think about it. So let's just recap those 5 steps to the audit of our circle one more time. Track your time and energy. Evaluate the alignment with your values of the people around you. Audit their influence on your behavior. Do they push to make you better, or do they drag you down and make you make poor decisions? I shouldn't say make you make poor decisions, because they're still your decisions, but if they're a negative influence on that, it's not a good thing for you. Review reciprocity. Can you count on them the same way they count on you? And create boundaries and make intentional changes. So that's a recap of the 5 steps. We're going to ask you to just pick one person this week who might be costing you peace or progress, and one person who deserves more of your time, and adjust your time and your efforts accordingly. Just pick one from each category. This person is a time sucker, and this person is an energy giver. You want to spend less time with the time sucker and more time and have more interactions with the energy giver. That's the way to think about it. And let's not forget, the one thing that you can never get back is time. If you lose money, you can make more, you can mend relationships, you can't get back time. It's your most limited resource, and you want to spend it where it matters and with the people who make you better. That's the whole point of our exercise here. So thanks for listening, guys. Really appreciate it. James puts it up here every day. Head over to our website, saltygingertalk.com. All of our podcast episodes are available there. We've got links to our social media accounts there. We publish a newsletter every weekday you can subscribe to there. And please like, comment, share, subscribe our podcast on whatever platform you consume it on. It is super, super helpful for us if you're able to do that. So this episode is going to air on a Friday. Hope this is a great way for you to head into your weekend. Hope you have a great weekend, and we'll see you on Monday's episode. Thanks a lot, guys.